Well, hello there, eCam Live Academy. Terry here, and I wanted to say hello. And first of all, thank you as a community for all the input and the help that you're giving me, figuring this thing out and really enjoying it. So I'm doing more and more with it, getting a chance to play with it and, just do all kinds of interesting things using the remote control. Now, Ian Altman, thank you for helping us with that. I can press a button like this and nothing happens because, gee, it's supposed to work, and it did before, but I realized I've got to activate it over here. So when I do that, then it works a little bit better. Yeah, there we go. See, so that comes up. And see, what I've done is I've built two slides. I'm showing you what I've done here. One, or scene, excuse me, not slides, but scenes. One scene is here, and then when I press the key, this comes up. You see, okay, oh, that's who that young man is. There we go. We can look at it that way. And then the next one sends me over to a magical place. Yes, indeed. Here I am, and you'll notice very casually, we're pointing at the terrybrock.com, wink, wink, so people know what it is. But you can have some fun with this thing and really get out there and enjoy what's happening as you put it together and as you work with it. I think there's a lot. But what I wanted to share with you today is something that I saw. You might have seen this also. It was real interesting. It was in today's Wall Street Journal. And it was a real important little article that I thought they did a good job on, talking about some of the importance of being able to look at the websites and what to do and what not to do in Zoom. Matter of fact, let's come up here to the top of the article. I love the graphics they put in here. Really good. And Betsy Morris, she's the author of this, I think did a great job. 7 rules of Zoom meeting etiquette from the pros. These are things you want to make sure you do and don't do when you're running your meetings and when you're being there. First one, I got to accentuate this. Don't be late. I think that's real important because you see so many people do that. Let's take a look at this here. Said video meetings make it obvious when colleagues show up late, wasting the time of those who log in promptly. In other words, so many people now will use this and they say, oh, well, gee, I'm not going to be there because, well, not everybody's here. We're waiting for people to show up. Well, then we feel like schmucks for showing up on time. Hey, don't do that. You start on time. Matter of fact, something that Terry would recommend from the many videos that I've done, I recommend show up 5 to 10 minutes early. If you're going to start at 10 o'clock, be there at 9:50. Be there at 9:50, much like you would be as a professional presenter there early, and you would say, hey, there you go. You can do it. Hey, Valerie, nice to see you here. On this matter of fact, Valerie, I'm going to click on you here. There we are. Love the way that you do this, and I love the way you look on that. Thank you very much for look at the presentation. I think that there's a lot that we can put together with this. But I think when we're doing these programs, what we want to do is we want to make sure that we are appealing to others, and being on time says a whole lot about what you do and how you think of the others. Do you respect them? That really is important, because what you want to do is you want to make sure that you're listening to them. And Valerie, yes, I have to say, yeah, you and I once again are in agreement. And I think that that's the key. So we want to make sure that we're there. You're paying attention to the others and you're showing them care and respect by doing that. So that's one of the first things that they talk about on here. Turn on that. And then here, the second one, turn on the camera. Too many times people will not have the camera turned on. What they're doing is they're just kind of hiding behind, oh, I don't look good. Oh, I didn't comb my hair. I can relate to that one. Yeah, but they'll say, I didn't get this or I can't do it. Look, you need to be there unless there's a real reason, like you're sick or something's wrong or it was an emergency and you weren't quite ready. Hey, I can relate to that. So you want to do that, but as much as possible, you want to make sure that what you're doing is you're saying, hey, I'm here for you. I'm real and I'm going to be there for you, with you, and all that. Another one, sit still. Now look at this. This is a graphic they put together, a little GIF file put together. Isn't that brilliant? Think about that. My fellow e-cammers, think about how you can take some of these techniques and use them yourself. And I think that's really, really good. And Valerie, once again, I have to agree with you. So that's really important. It is totally a matter of respect. Yes, that's the key. And that's something I don't think we have enough of in our world today. And it gives you a real competitive advantage when you do it. You see, when you show someone respect, you're saying, I honor you as a person. And I think that that is critical. We're hearing a lot today about the challenges that are out there with people and some real issues that are out there that need to be dealt with from a perspective of how we grew up, what we were taught, and what's acceptable and what isn't acceptable. And I think we've got to be there and make sure we're doing it. Valerie, as you say so well, I love your eloquence, Valerie Pinkston, be in the room. Be there for people. Now, there are times we understand might not be able to do that. But then maybe you shouldn't be in the meeting. Think of it kind of like being physically in a meeting room. You walk into a conference room, everyone's seated around the conference table, and let's suppose you kind of check out. You're not in the room. Well, then what does that mean? What are you doing? Go, oh, excuse me, everyone. I got to check my cell phone here. I got to look at this. There's something on here more important than you. I got to look at that. That's really what you're saying. And so you want to say, Valerie, as you're saying very well here, be in the room. Be there for people. And it means when you're talking to that person, you want to do it. It reminds me of something that Mary Kay Ash said. Mary Kay Ash, the founder of Mary Kay Cosmetics, she had a profound ability to be human, to be there. When she was talking with someone, there could be all kinds of people around, and many wanted to talk with her. They wanted to get her attention as well. She was with that person. She looked at them in their eye. She saw them. She asked them questions about them. She followed up. When they would say, yeah, I'm going through this and this, she wouldn't just go, oh, uh-huh. Did you see our new product or something? No. Mary Kay Ash's style was to be a real human and be there for people. That is most important. And be there and do that. As a matter of fact, Hope, good to have you here. I appreciate the heart. Thank you that, and I'm echoing my heart back to you as well. These are important features. And by the way, Hope, I'm just going to take a moment here. I might embarrass you a little bit. You are wonderful. Thank you very much for all the giving and the care that you're doing for us here in the eCam community. We appreciate you a lot on that. And so it really comes back to caring for people and helping them. That means if you're in a meeting, that means if you're seeing them one-on-one, all of that is vitally important. And I love what you say here. Wow, I used to sell Mary Kay. I learned a lot from her program. Really, I never sold it myself, but I know people that are in that. I know that my buddy that is no longer with us today, Zig Ziglar, he did a lot of work with them right there in Dallas where he was. He was a member of the National Speakers Association, and we were both in the Hall of Fame, and a wonderful guy. But he worked with Mary Kay Ash, a great organization. And I think the key is that people really care about others who care for them. And in today's world, a competitive world, we talk about so much hostility. Here's a way to solve that. Here's a way to melt that. When you run into someone who's really hard and they're icy and all that, be warm. I found out that warmth and genuine heat that you would give to someone that is warm, you're helping them, that melts the ice. And I think that's kind of a nice analogy. I just made that up, by the way. That's a nice analogy for life. When people are really at each other's throats and arguing, be kind. Be nice. When you do that, I think that helps. And if you demonstrate that within the meetings that we're having, it also works very well as well. Thanks so much. Oh, you bet, Hope. I really appreciate it. I mean that sincerely. You're a great person. It's another thing about the eCam community that we have here in our eCam Live Academy. Caring. People genuinely care. They help each other. I am so grateful for the help that I received from Hope and Valerie, the two of you that are here right now, happen to be there, and many, many others that have helped me. And I go, oh, thank you. I didn't know it. And we all help each other as we go. We're able to do it. Yvonne Master, hi, Terry. You sound really good and sound great. Well, thank you very much, Yvonne. I'm talking like this normally, but no, I'm just kidding. But thank you. You're very kind to say that. But I think that that's the key, what we want to do. We want to make sure that we can be there for people. And that means, yeah, we're going to, Valerie, as you're reiterating back, we melt the ice, we be warm. And by doing that, it really makes for a big difference of how people are going to perceive us and what's going to happen. I think that what we want to do is be more human, be more real. And as the article goes on to say, in some other areas you want to do, no eating. Now, here's one where I might disagree. I understand what they're saying. It's got to be done in the right way, though. I often will get together with people and I'll say, hey, let's have lunch together. I don't want to drive all the way across town, because in our town, we're here in Orlando, Florida. To drive over and meet someone for lunch and then come back, you're looking at a good 3 to 4 hours popped out of your day in order to get dressed up, go over there, find parking, meet them. I'm talking about, when we do these things again, then you come back, etc. I often like to have a luncheon with people over Zoom. You get down together and you say, okay, what are you having today? I'm having this, you're having that. We're going to be able to connect, and we really get work done. I think we'll be more open to that. So I understand what they're saying about don't eat and what Molly was saying here in the article. That does make sense. You want to honor the other person. There's a way to eat and a way not to. It's like if you go out to lunch with someone. Yes, you're going to eat there. That's okay. But use good table manners. Come on, our mamas told us this stuff. And guess what? Our mamas were right. You need to make sure you have your manners and do things the right way. So here's some other things that they talked about in the article. I thought they were particularly good as we look at here. Get good at interrupting. Now that one kind of, I had to wonder. I thought, okay, what do you mean by that? Because my mom always told me, do not interrupt. Conventional wisdom has been, don't interrupt. Well, that's what mom told me. But that makes it too easy for grandstanding by the so-called loudest voice in the room. Well, you know what? She raises a good point in that article. Because there are people that go on and on and on. You know the type. I often say they're the people that have what I call eye trouble. Now, I'm not talking about I, like your eye here, and that EYE. No, I'm talking about the letter I. Well, I did this, and I did that, and I did this, and then, and they're just all about me. Talk about narcissism. Holy Toledo. These people only talk about themselves. Here's a little trick. Use this. Next time you're talking to someone, step back and listen. Listen, as my friend Chris Brogan says, grow bigger ears. Listen to them. How many times they use the word I or me or my, or they're listening to only themselves versus how many times they're paying attention to you and they're asking about you and follow-up questions. Again, going back to Mary Kay Ash and what she did so beautifully, so well. She really cared about the people that she was talking to in the moment. She was in the moment. None of this, okay, I know there's other people out here and I will take care of them later if we can, but right now I'm with you and I'm going to pay attention to you. I think that's a characteristic that we can all build, and it's something that helps us to really relate to people more and to be a better communicator. That's really what it's about, doing that. She said, close the office door here. I think that's important. Seal out those outside noises that are going to be there. Sometimes we'll have that and we don't want that. Don't multitask. Uh-oh, how many of us are guilty of that? Excuse me a minute. I got to get on my phone here while I'm doing this. Yeah, let me get on the phone. I got to do this thing here. Here's my cell phone. I'm doing that. No. Be in the moment. Put the phone down. Now, if you're expecting a call, if you're a doctor, medical doctor, and you're on call, okay, we get it. We get it. You've got to take care of that. That's important. You've got to be ready for that call. Or let's say your spouse is expecting a child or so. Okay, we got it. Something's going on. But in most cases, that's not it. Put the cell phone down. This is why we have voicemail. It's really nice, and it can go to that voicemail, and that way you're there for the person. You're helping them, you're caring for them, and right there with them. Yvonne, let's see, you said there are also those of us who are quiet, and it's hard for us to interrupt. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, we don't want to do it, and it's hard for me to break through and do that interrupting, but I realize as a professional interviewer, a professional speaker, when I'm talking to some, there are some people that just want to go on and on and on and on incessantly about themselves. There are polite ways to do it. And there are polite and professional ways to do that without looking like a jerk and without being a jerk. And I think that's the key. It's a matter of sometimes you might step in there and go, excuse me, Bob, for interrupting, but you just said something real important there. And and you talk about what Bob said, but that's a good way then to pivot from Bob, who's got eye trouble, going on, and focus on some of the other people that are involved. I think that's real important. Now, if it's just the two of you, you and Bob, you can let Bob go a little bit longer. Bob is my hypothetical person here that might be talking too much. But I think what we want to do is pay attention to the other people and care for them. So there's the article in the Wall Street Journal. I think those are really important points that they put in there. And also, I would add some others. One that I would say is very important. Test. My fellow e-cammers, what we want to do is we want to make sure that we're testing and we're checking to see, okay, what's going on here? What is happening? And how is the AV working? One of the best ways to do that, go into eCam, click on that record and record it to the computer. Do not send it over to the Facebook Live or others the first time. And do about a 30, 60 second or so recording of everything. You got a few scenes to go through those scenes. Make sure everything's okay. Because often you'll do it and you go, ooh, that one didn't sound right. Oh, my mic is too loud. My mic is too soft. Or when I played that little extra there, something went wrong. That's what you want to check for. Do that, and by doing a recording and then going back and checking, you can go, oh, my lighting wasn't quite as good. Maybe I need to turn that up a little bit, or sound was too loud. Or sometimes, I got to tell you a story. When I was working with Skype, I was their chief enterprise blogger. I did a lot of interviews with people. A lot of times I'd be interviewing guys that might be real techie, the nerd kind, the kind of guys that I kind of am too, nerdy, but we'd get them all together. We'd check it, and we were checking when I was going to do an interview with them. We send it out to all of our Skype users that are available. And we'd get the audio, we'd get the video, everything down. We'd just get ready to hit record. And I'd go, Ralph, you might not want the world looking at that picture that's over your left shoulder there. And he looks back and goes, oh, yeah, I have to pull it down. Check these things out. Do the recording beforehand, and that can help you a lot. And so that and all the other points there, I think will be good. Well, I would love to hear from you. If you're catching the recording of this later here on eCam or elsewhere, please leave some comments of other tips that you have found that make it very good for a presentation. How do you make sure that your presentations are professional, that they're good, that they're the kind of things that people are saying, hey, I like this, I want to come back and want to see them again and work with them more. I'm Terry Bronk with terrybronk.com. Really appreciate your comments, appreciate you being here, and thank you so much for joining me today.